All right. Hello, 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 and welcome. Today is Friday, March 12th, 2021, and this is your PTE News Break. I'm your host, PTE. I'm so excited to be here with you this evening. Welcome as you join the show. Want to give a huge shout out to my sponsors. Thank you so much to my March 2021 sponsors. I appreciate your support. I hope you have a very good weekend this weekend, and I hope if you qualify, you get your stimulus money this weekend. All right, you guys, let's jump right into the show. Welcome to everybody as you fill into the room. We actually have quite a few stories to cover this evening, so we might actually be here a while. This might be a longer news break, but we've had a lot going on this week. So I think the story that at least has captivated the news cycle this week is Meghan and Harry's interview with Oprah. Now, I'll make a confession here. I really don't follow the royals at all, you guys. Like, at all. Like, literally never click on a story. Like, literally have never purposely sat and watched a YouTube video. And I'm not, trying to be mean or anything. I'm just saying I have no connection emotionally whatsoever with the royals. So this is literally me just kind of reporting out. If everything they're saying is true, it doesn't surprise me. And I'm surprised at everyone else's surprise. I'm like, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. But since I've started up, if what she's saying is true of the racism accusations, well, darling, that's kind of where racism was born. It was born in Europe and then kind of fanned out, So why are we shocked? I don't know. Maybe I should be more surprised than I am, but I'm not. However, that doesn't make it any less awful what she went through, what they went through. So for those who are kind of like me and don't follow the royals at all, let's take a look at what has taken place this week and why everyone's been talking about it. So it says the royal family has yet to respond to accusations from the couple, including that one of its members questioned how dark their baby's skin would be, and that palace officials refused requests from the Duchess of Sussex for medical help when she felt the need to take her own life. I apologize for not reading the word directly. As you all may know, YouTube doesn't like that word. Okay, so there they are. It says a year after Meghan Markle married Prince Harry in a fairy tale wedding, she said in an extraordinary interview broadcast on Sunday night, her life as a member of the British royal family had become so emotionally desolate that she had contemplated taking her own life. At another point, members of the family told Harry and Meghan, a biracial former actress from the United States, that they did not want the couple's unborn child, Archie, to be a prince or princess, and expressed concerns about how dark the color of the baby's skin would be. An emotional but self-possessed Meghan said of her self-harm thoughts, "I was ashamed to have to admit it to Harry. I knew that if I didn't say it, I would do it. I just didn't want to be alive anymore." Meghan, 39, made the disclosures in an eagerly anticipated and at times incendiary interview on CBS with Oprah Winfrey that aired in the US in prime time. The interview was broadcast at 9 p.m. Monday on ITV in Britain. In describing a royal life that began as a fairy tale but quickly turned suffocating and cruel, Meghan's blunt answers raised the combustible issues of race and privilege in the most rarefied echelon of British society. Okay, so I'm not going to play this clip because I have no doubt that Oprah has her stuff completely locked down in all places, but it is available pretty much everywhere. And I'm not sure what network Oprah's channel airs on, but you can go check it there. And of course, I'll link the article for you. Now, there has been some mild fallout from this, obviously. So Piers Morgan quit his TV show as a result of some comments that he made on that TV show. And Buckingham Palace responded, okay? So let's take a look at that. Let me see if I can make this just a little bit bigger for you guys. And for me too, if we're being honest. For me too. In her first public response to Prince Harry and Meghan's extraordinary interview with Oprah Winfrey earlier this week, Queen Elizabeth II said the royal family is saddened to learn the extent of the challenges faced by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Harry and the former Meghan Markle discussed at length their contentious relationship with the royal family in the 2-hour interview broadcast in the US on Sunday evening and in Great Britain the following night. The statement issued by Buckingham Palace on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen read in its entirety, "The whole family is saddened to learn the full extent of how challenging the last few years have been for Harry and Meghan. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. Harry, Meghan, and Archie will always be much-loved family members." In the interview, Meghan said the royal family declined to make the couple's son Archie a prince or to offer him the protection that would come with that title. She also said someone in the family expressed concern to Harry about what color the baby's skin would be. Meghan has a black mother and a white father. Harry declined to say who had expressed those concerns, but he said it was neither his grandfather, Prince Philip, nor the Queen. Probably that lady who wore that brooch to that, what was it, the wedding? When asked by a reporter on Tuesday about the interview, Prince Charles, Harry's father, declined to answer. Among other revelations from the interview, the royal family informed Harry and Meghan that their security detail would be ended after the couple stepped back from royal duties and moved abroad. The couple said their home address in Canada had been revealed by the Daily Mail, making them concerned for their safety and resulting in their move to California. Meghan also revealed that her experience in the family was so unbearable, she had considered self-harm. Harry told Winfrey that he felt trapped within the system of the royal family and said the family had failed to stick up for them when Meghan was suffering racist harassment from British media and members of the public. The interview drew parallels with a 1995 BBC interview with Harry's late mother, Princess Diana, whose marriage to Charles ended in divorce. And the fallout continues. So one consequence of the interview was the departure of a prominent media figure from his job as a presenter for Good Morning Britain on the UK's ITV network. Piers Morgan, who once hosted an interview program on CNN, is a longtime critic of Meghan. Piers, get a hobby. On Monday's broadcast, he said of her claim that she had considered self-harm, "I don't believe a word she says. I wouldn't believe her if she read me a weather report." On Tuesday's broadcast, as weather presenter Alex Beresford criticized Morgan's remarks and defended Meghan, Morgan stormed off the set saying, "Okay, I'm done with this." He returned after a commercial break, but by Tuesday afternoon, Morgan was gone from the show following thousands of complaints about his behavior to the UK's media watchdog agency, Ofcom. A spokesperson for ITV said in a statement, following discussions with ITV, Piers Morgan has decided now is the time to leave Good Morning Britain. ITV has accepted this decision and has nothing further to add. So, people are losing jobs, getting accused of racism and all kinds of fancy stuff. So, like I said, again, if it's all true, I'm not surprised because this is kind of where racism originated, like it started over there. Now, listen, I know my history is cloudy. I know I need to brush up on my basic world and national history, but I know one thing for sure, that this is like, you know, the nest, the petri dish, the origin point of racism worldwide. This is where it fanned out from. So I'm not surprised. I think what surprises me is that they were just so obsessed. Like the little bit I could pick up on whenever I did hear of the royals, all I would say to myself is, God, they're obsessed with this girl. She really bothers them. I wonder why. I wonder why. She really, really bothers them though. Like she really gets under their skin, you know? So Again, I don't know. Obviously, this is all alleged, especially with them not naming names and saying who said that, when they said it. It's all alleged. Some people, like this couple, is very divisive. Like some people really love them and are very, very defensive of them, and everyone else like hates them. And I just don't get it because I'll be very honest with you guys. I just kind of find them boring. I do. Like, I'm sorry. I apologize. I just, there's nothing about either one of them that stimulates me. There's nothing about the royal family that stimulates me. Who made them royal? See, that's probably part of that global history that I need to brush up on. All I'm asking is who died and made you queen? That's all I'm asking. You know, who like, and don't you guys like have to pay them? Like, so kind of similar to how here in the States, we have to pay taxes to the federal government. Don't y'all kind of like have to pay the royal family? I don't know. I find it all strange, but I'm sure that people find a lot of what Americans do strange, and I wouldn't disagree. So good luck to you guys. If this is all true, I'm actually really glad you got out. It sounds to me, it sounds like they broke out of a cult. Honestly, like it sounds like they broke free of a really nasty cult and paid the price for it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's how I interpret it, honestly, but without really following it, you guys, I cannot give it an honest opinion. I really can't. All I can say is to me, outside looking in, it sounds like they broke free of some heavy brainwashing and serious cult programming. But that's just my opinion. All right. So I will link all this for you for those of you who are interested. And I can't wait to read your comments because I see the chat going off over here, but I can't look at two screens at once. So I can't wait to see what you guys are actually saying about this. Maybe I can get more educated on it. All right. So I thought you guys might find this interesting. Permanent daylight savings time bill advances through the Georgia House. So Georgia residents, it is possible that you might not have to change your clocks over anymore. It's possible. All right. Georgia would stay on daylight savings time permanently, putting an end to a twice a year time changes under a bill that passed the state house on Friday. State representatives said falling back and springing forward disrupts sleep patterns, contributes to car crashes, and increases the number of heart attacks. The House voted 112 to 48 to approve the daylight saving time measure, House Bill 44. The vast majority of people hate time change, said State Rep Wes Cantrell. Time change disrupts the natural order of things. Our bodies are designed to adjust slowly to the changing amount of daylight as the Earth rotates. Some representatives who opposed the legislation said they would prefer permanent standard time so there would be more light in the mornings. Even if the bill becomes law, it couldn't take effect unless Congress acts. Federal law currently prohibits states from observing daylight saving time year-round. A separate bill that passed the state Senate last month, Senate Bill 100, calls for Georgia to make standard time permanent. So, guys, I have like an advanced sleep theory. I really do. And I think I might actually share that with you on a deeper PTE. Because I'm convinced that like, I don't know that it's so much daylight saving time. I hate saying it that way, even though that's grammatically correct. Well, that's its name. The name is daylight saving time, but I grew up saying daylight savings time. So anyway, I don't think it's so much I'll say DST, a DST issue. I know this is going to sound weird, which is why I'm going to address it on my other channel. I think it more so has to do with what time you were born and like what season you were born in. So for example, like if you were born early in the morning, we'll say 3 a.m. in the summer, then in my opinion, you're probably like a night owl. You're either, well, let me rephrase. See, this is why I need to work the theory out on my other channel. Basically, what I'm trying to say is the time that your brain snapped into reality, the minute you started crying after you came out of the womb, is kind of when your brain turned on. So wouldn't that be like the starting point, kind of? So to your brain, that's minute one, day one, or second one, day one. So to your brain, while to everyone else it's 3 a.m., to your brain, it's like whatever the natural wake up time is. So what would that be? 6 a.m., 7 a.m.? It's so hard for me to explain, y'all. But what I'm basically trying to say is what time of day you were born determines what type of person you are. So if you're a morning person, this is all my theory, by the way, this is not science. But if you're a morning person, to me, that has something to do with the time of day that you were born. And if you're a night owl, that has something to do with the time of day you were born. It's what time your brain thinks it is what I'm basically saying. Not what time it actually is, what time your brain thinks it is. And I have heavy justifications for why I believe that. So anyway, at the risk of doing that video, let's move on. But if you live in Georgia, you may not have to roll your clocks. Who else doesn't roll their clocks? Is it Arizona that doesn't roll their clocks? So the question on the chat says, why wouldn't the brain be active in the womb? It's not that it's not active, it's that it's not on yet. So it's kind of like your computer. If your computer is not powered on, your computer still works. It's just not on. Don't get me started. So we'll address that on my other channel. I think that would be a very interesting conversation because me and sleep and I, oh my God. I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again here. If I could get my sleep and sleep patterns down and get the proper rest that I needed, y'all, I would be a millionaire. I'm telling you that. Like, I'm trying to explain to you that if I could get the type of sleep that I really need, I would be probably a multi-millionaire. Don't get me started. I'll have to save that for the other channel. Okay. So we have to do a little bit of a sad story really quick and a little bit of a morbid story. But as always, I only bring it to you because I want to make a point. Okay. So a Bowling Green State University student has passed away after an alleged fraternity hazing incident. Okay. So some of you may have heard of this earlier in the week. You may have heard that there was a student essentially on life support in the process of donating his organs. Right. So then I think either a couple hours later or like the next day, the story came out that he did indeed pass away. Stone Foltz, a Bowling Green State University student, died Sunday after an alleged hazing incident involving alcohol. The death of Stone Foltz is a tragedy. He was a beloved son, brother, and grandson. Foltz, a sophomore in the university's College of Business, was hospitalized Thursday after alleged hazing activity involving alcohol consumption at an off-campus Pi Kappa Alpha event in Bowling Green, Ohio. He was in critical condition at the ProMedica Toledo Hospital for 3 days. So it was a few days later, sorry. At this time, we are gathering all the facts leading to his untimely death, and we have no interest in commenting on speculation. However, we do ask that you please show respect and consideration for Stone's family. Despite their unbearable grief, they agreed to donate Stone's organs so that others may have a second chance at life. The Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity told ABC News in a statement they were horrified and outraged by the incident. We extend our deepest and sincere sympathy to the student's family and friends and all of those affected by this tragic loss. The organization said in its initial statement, erroneously saying Foltz had died while he was still hospitalized. The Delta Beta chapter of Pi Kappa Alpha at Bowling Green State University has been placed on administrative suspension following the incident. As more details are confirmed, we will also pursue permanent suspension of Delta Beta chapter, as well as expulsion of all chapter members from the international fraternity. The frat said it will cooperate fully with authorities. The university placed the fraternity on an interim suspension as they work with law enforcement to investigate. Okay. Then those who knew Stone remember him as a kind, selfless person with a great sense of humor. The university mourns his tragic loss and shares in his family and friends' sorrow. Okay. So I wanted to bring this to you for a reason. And the reason that I'm bringing this to you is because I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago on this channel, I did a video called Narcissists Are Dangerous Because They Don't Know When to Quit. And in that video, I covered a separate fraternity hazing incident. Okay. So once again, we have another incident of a fraternity, and it happens in sororities as well, taking it to the ultimate limit, taking it right up to the limit and then crossing over. You see? And when I look at this young man and I think of other people who have died as a result of fraternity or sorority hazing, I always think to myself, if they had permission to exist, they might still be alive. And no, I don't mean me. No, I don't mean this channel. I'm using it in the literal direct sense of the words. If they had permission to exist, they would still be alive. Meaning, essentially, that's something in you that would say, you know what? This is getting dangerous. You know what? Acceptance from you is not worth my life. You know what? If it takes getting beat, getting injured, and getting hospitalized to be part of your group, I don't want to be part of your group. That's what permission to exist is. It's the recognition that you don't have to take on damage to make someone else happy. You don't. That's not part of the agreement. As a human being, you do not have to take on damage to make someone else happy. Take on damage to make someone else accept you. You do not. So that is kind of like my whole entire premise. I think I did share with you guys the story of how I almost pledged. And after I saw, that was the same video, actually. And after I saw how they treated us upon really just meeting us, really, I was like, oh no, this is only going to get worse from here. Like they were trying to control me. My parents didn't control me. And they were trying to control me more than my parents ever had, if that makes sense. I'm like, girl, bye. You're not my mom. You're not my dad. They got great results out of me without being this way towards me. And I think that says a lot, like they didn't have to yell at me, belittle me, crush me, or what they like to say, break you down to build you back up to get good results out of me. And I'm not going to let you do that to me either. And like I said, somewhere around here, anyone who can break you down and build you back up is either a God or your God, one or the other. Actually, maybe I should make it 3. Anyone who can break you down and build you back up is either God, a God, or your God, one of those 3. Okay? So this is another tragic loss to those of you who have teenagers who are getting ready to go into college. Right now, it's not as much of an issue, obviously, because the pandemic has pretty much pushed everything virtual. But if the world ever does start to open back up, please understand that these frat parties and these sorority parties are going to be worse than they've ever been in history. And the reason is because everyone has felt so restricted for so long. And here's something else. A lot of kids feel like they've missed like a year of their life. So if 2020 was your freshman year in college and you got to spend your freshman year online, possibly at your parents' house, because your parents might have been like, well, I'm not paying for a dorm if you're taking all your classes online. You can stay here and take them from the basement. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do that to my children. I'm just saying some parents probably made that decision. So a lot of kids feel like they've missed out on a year of their college life. So what I'm trying to say is when these parties start back up, they are going to be worse than ever before. the drugs, the alcohol, the hazing. It's going to be worse than it's ever been before. So you have to talk to your children and explain to them you do not have to take on damage to make someone else happy. You do not have to take on damage to make someone else accept you. You do not. We didn't do that to you. No one's doing that to you. Okay? So that's all I really have to say. That and this. So they said he passed away from, I want to use the exact words. Where is it? Activity involving alcohol consumption. What I'm going to need the universities to start doing is being more specific. Because what if this activity was a game that he was playing and did not realize that he had too much alcohol? Do you see what I mean? What type of activity? Was it beer pong? What is the one where they basically put a hose in your mouth? It's a plastic hose, and then there's a funnel at the top, and then they just pour it in the top of the funnel. What is that called? Was it that? Did they force him to drink a whole bottle of tequila? Like what happened? You have to tell us, because when you don't tell us, we lose a very valuable teaching opportunity. Like, were they playing a very well-known hazing game? Does it have a name? So I can tell my child, hey, if they ever play skippity doo dah beer pong, walk away. You know what I mean? Like, we need to know these things so we can avoid them better. You understand? But the number one thing that they need to know is that it is better to be alive and healthy and independent of some group than it is to be either dead or permanently damaged. Because imagine if he had survived this. So whatever happened, it was bad enough to take his life. But imagine if he had survived, he probably would have had permanent liver damage. So was it worth it to be part of this frat that I've never even heard of before? So they're not that important. So was it worth it to be accepted by these people? And then further than that, are there going to be any charges brought up? And what happens to the individuals who initiated this, encouraged it, egged it on? Do they get to just continue their college careers and then graduate and go on to become somebody's supervisor, manager, leader? Like, we need to have a database of people to where it's not so much that you can't work anywhere, but you're not allowed to lead anybody. You're never allowed to be in charge. Once you've made it to this database, you're not allowed to be in charge of people because you cannot be trusted. Like, you have a tendency to become a tyrant, a bully, and a psychopath when put in charge of people. So we're not going to restrict you from working because everyone needs a personal economy. We're just not ever going to allow you to be in a leadership position. I think that's a fair trade-off. And that's all I'm going to say before I end up in another video. Okay. So this has been on the minds of a lot of different people all over the country. And I just wanted to kind of give an update because I do think this is going to precipitate a summer of madness. Truly, I do. Okay, here we go. Derek Chauvin. 7 jurors have now been seated as Minneapolis announces a $27 million settlement with George Floyd's family. So there's like 2 stories going on here. So the one story is that they've got jurors for this trial. The second part of the story is George Floyd's family is getting a $27 million settlement. Nope. Don't go off on another video, PTE. Just keep on going. All right. I'm not going to read all this because it's kind of a recap of the case. What I wanted to read were the latest updates so we can just kind of keep track of where this case is. Again, I have predictions, but I'm trying to be optimistic. So I'm going to try to stay optimistic. But my predictions pretty much center around the end result of this being a summer of madness if everyone falls for it. Don't get me started, y'all. Let's do the updates. Court was expected to resume at 8 a.m. Central Time Monday. Minneapolis on Friday reached a $27 million agreement with George Floyd's family. The city council unanimously voted to approve the settlement, and Mayor Jacob Fry was expected to sign it, according to city officials. The court seated its seventh juror Friday afternoon. The woman, a single mother of two, what? In her five. What? It literally says the woman, a single mother of two in her five. I don't know what that means. The woman, a single mother of two, said she works in the nonprofit world and has previously interacted with Minnesota's Attorney General. Angela Harrison, George Floyd's aunt, was the Floyd family representative in the courtroom Friday. Cahill and lawyers over the week have asked potential jurors about their previous knowledge of the case, whether they've seen it on the news, and how they responded to a 13-page questionnaire. I really have to wonder who, like, you would have to have no TV, a phone, a cell phone that's just a regular phone, so it's not a smartphone, or no cell phone at all. You don't read the papers. And obviously you don't go on the internet or anything. And I'm just trying to figure out who that would be. Like, who doesn't know about this? You know what I mean? Didn't it kick off a worldwide protest? So I don't know. I don't have the highest of hopes, but again, I'm trying to remain optimistic, and we'll just kind of watch and see what happens. And see what happens. There was something about this, though. This is what I wanted to say. Cahill, who is the judge, I think. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, District Judge Peter Cahill allowed prosecutors to reinstate a third-degree murder charge against Chauvin, something legal observers say will give the jury more options as it considers the former officer's culpability in Floyd's death. So basically, yeah, the judge allowed them to put that charge back up there to, you know, increase the likelihood that a conviction might actually take place. So we shall see. Let me move on. Let's just move on. Y'all, this makes me feel happy inside. There's a couple of things in this world that really make me feel happy inside. And this is one of them. Geico must face a lawsuit claiming it overcharged on car insurance during the pandemic. Oh, it's Cahill, not Cahill. What was I saying? Cahill. Cahill. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, back to what makes me feel happy inside. The auto insurer Geico Corp, a unit of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway Inc., must face a proposed class action lawsuit claiming it overcharged policyholders as the coronavirus pandemic led to less driving and fewer accidents, a judge has ruled. Yeah. In a decision on Thursday, U.S. District Judge Sharon Johnson Coleman in Chicago said Illinois drivers may try to prove Geico violated a state consumer fraud law by unfairly and deceptively marketing its Geico Give Back discount program. She dismissed breach of contract and unjust enrichment claims. It was unjust enrichment, though, because, oh, don't get ahead of yourself, PTE. Finish the article. Okay, it's not that long. It was unjust enrichment. We'll talk about why it was. Neither Geico nor its lawyers immediately responded to requests for comments on Friday. And then lawyers for the plaintiffs didn't respond either. Geico had last April offered policyholders $2.5 billion of credits, including 15% on renewals from April to October, averaging about $150 per policy. Y'all are so shady. We just got through talking about letting go of the scam. If you can ever let go of the scam, you'll start to make real money. Real money. If you can ever just let go of this scammy element. Oh my God. But policyholders, led by Brianna Siegel, said this induced them to renew and pay excessive premiums rather than shop around, as stay-at-home orders and closures of businesses and schools resulted in less time on the road. Siegel Also said Geico's credits compared unfavorably with refunds offered by other insurers. Oh, we might as well finish it. She cited a report from the Consumer Federation of America and Center for Economic Justice awarding Geico's program a D minus, below the A and B grades given to State Farm and Allstate, which offered refunds. Without ruling on the merits, Coleman said the plaintiffs adequately alleged that Geico misled them into thinking it was passing on all its savings from reduced driving and failed to disclose that its premiums were not based on an accurate assessment of risk, correct, during COVID-19. Geico's loss ratio, or percentage of premiums paid to cover claims, fell to 74.1 in 2020 from 81.3 a year earlier and was the lowest since 2007. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. And the case is in the U.S. District Court, Northern District of Illinois. Okay. So here's why they're correct, but I'm worried they need to take a different approach. So hopefully somebody who's involved with this hears this. So first of all, they're 100% correct. The way Geico set it up was real scammy. And the way that I know that is that I was one of their customers when all this was happening. And when the world basically shut down for the most part nationwide and everyone was at home, people were driving less. And the whole thing about insurance is this. One of the first questions they ask you on your insurance application is your zip code. The reason they want to ask you this, or the reason they ask you this, is because they're looking at the number of accidents in your zip code. They're looking at, how many claims they paid out in that zip code. In other words, do you live, drive, and work in an area that is prone to accidents or not? Basically, like in this little block, in this square block, there's 1,000 accidents per year. In this square block, there's 10. So theoretically, the square block, which would be your zip code, with 10 accidents should have lower premiums than the square block that has 1,000 accidents per year, because the insurance company essentially knows that as a result of you living over there, they're going to end up paying something one day. They just know mathematically, algorithmically, right? So when then the whole entire world essentially shuts down and everyone's driving is cut by like 50%, everyone's premiums, once that particular policy expired, and usually they're on like 6-month, rotations. Once that policy expired, your premium should have been cut in half. Like if you went from being someone who was spending 30 to 45 minutes on the road both ways every day to go to work to someone who is spending approximately 0 minutes on the highway to go to work every day because you now work from home, your premium should have been next to nothing. Your insurance premium, let's just say, to make it an easy number, you pay $150 a month for your particular car. Oh God, why did I do that to myself? Why don't we go with 100? Let's say you pay $100 a month, normal, pre-COVID for your car insurance. Post-COVID, you should have been paying like 50 bucks. I mean it. Like all of $50, because things have changed. Yeah, you're still going to go to the grocery store, but there's far fewer people on the highway to interact with at that time. So, you know what I mean? Like, you should have had your premium slashed. Now, what some insurance companies did was go ahead and offer you like a little refund, which is fine. But what Geico did was they tried to, it's so scammy. They tried to say, okay, when you renew your policy, we're going to give you 15% off the renewal of your new policy. You like that? So the savings that we should be giving to you right now, because they were based on a circumstance, we're just going to roll that forward when you renew your policy with us, and you'll get like $150 per policy, which if you do go ahead and do that math, it's not $150 a month, kids. It's 150 divided by 12. Well, actually, we'll say 6, because most policies go on a 6-month basis. So really, we're talking like $25 per month is what you were saving, allegedly. So if your bill was normally 100, basically your bill will be 75 once you renew, though. Renew, and your new bill, your shiny new bill, will be $75. Now, here's a bit of interesting news that I'm not seeing reported anywhere. And believe me, you guys, I've looked. But I want to know how many people are canceling their car insurance policies right now. I have to know this. And I know the insurance companies would never tell voluntarily. So I have to get like an inside, what do they call the people? Not a stool pigeon, not a snitch. There's another word. I'll just say link. I need like an inside link. So if any of you work for insurance companies, I promise I'll keep you anonymous. I'll go to the grave with your identity. You don't even have to tell me who you are. But I need to know, and I need some kind of proof, But I believe these people are bleeding policies. How could they not be? If your child is now going to school at home, you and your spouse work from home now. Your grocery store is 5 minutes away. Now, don't get me wrong. Most accidents occur within 2 miles of your house. Okay. I just want to make that abundantly clear because I don't want to make it seem like I'm advocating for something. All I'm saying is, all things being considered, grocery store is 5 minutes away. Kid goes to school at home. I work from home. Car has sat in the driveway for a week. I want to know how many of these policies are getting canceled left and right. Now, an enterprising entrepreneurial person would invent an insurance company for a time such as this. And basically what you sell are work from home car insurance policies. Now, the way it would work is you would basically have to keep your mileage ridiculously low, like under 500 miles per year, probably something like that, maybe 1,000. You'd have to keep your mileage under 1,000 miles per year. Yes, there would be some sort of tracker involved because, darling, we don't trust you to tell the truth about your mileage. Come on now. We don't trust you to tell the truth. Or we could just either send someone out or have you submit pictures of your odometer. But you'd probably, y'all would manipulate that too, Photoshop. So we can just have someone come out and take a picture. It's no big deal. But the idea is you pay basically $10, $15, maybe $20 a month for your car that's sitting in the driveway. Your company has told you y'all don't ever have to come back. We canceled our lease. We don't even have an office anymore. You work from home now. You don't plan on taking any trips. You go to the grocery store, it's 5 minutes away. You need a work from home policy, $10 to $15 a month, just to acknowledge that, yes, life happens. But let's be real. You know what I mean? Don't get me started on this, you guys. I'm very pleased to hear of this lawsuit. I hope to hear of more. I hope other industries take up the same action, such as maybe the rental industries, any industry that didn't take their foot off of our necks during this pandemic. I hope similar lawsuits follow suit because it's unjust enrichment. It's the main thing that you would win your lawsuit on is the fact that their algorithm was based on a set of circumstances that is no longer true. So your policies or whatever need to change because they're no longer true. The circumstances that we agreed upon initially have changed. Don't get me started. Why don't we go ahead and move on, everybody? Welcome to everybody in the chat. How you guys doing? Happy Friday. Oh, is that the name? Is it actually called Garage Insurance? Is that the actual name or did you make that up? I like it though. Pretty much that's what we could call it, Garage Insurance. Yes, I use this car like once a week for 10 to 20 minutes and that's it. And yes, catastrophic things can happen in 10 to 20 minutes, but let's be real. You know what I mean? What? Okay. All right, let's move on. Fully vaccinated people can gather without masks, says the CDC. Fully vaccinated Americans can gather with other vaccinated people indoors without wearing a mask or social distancing, according to long awaited guidance from federal health officials. The recommendations also say that vaccinated people can come together in the same way in a single household with people considered at low risk for severe disease, such as in the case of vaccinated grandparents visiting healthy children and grandchildren. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced the guidance Monday. The guidance is designed to address a growing demand as more adults have been getting vaccinated and wondering if it gives them greater freedom to visit family members, travel, or do other things like they did before the COVID-19 pandemic swept the world last year. With more and more people vaccinated each day, we are starting to turn a corner, said CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky. During a press briefing Monday, she called the guidance a first step toward restoring normalcy in how people come together. She said more activities would be okayed for vaccinated individuals once caseloads and deaths decline, more Americans are vaccinated, and as more science emerges on the ability of those who have been vaccinated to get and spread the virus, okay? The CDC is continuing to recommend that fully vaccinated people still wear well-fitted masks, avoid large gatherings, and physically distance themselves from others when out in public. Got it. The CDC also advised vaccinated people to get tested if they develop symptoms that could be related to COVID-19, okay? So I'm not going to read this whole thing. It's rather lengthy. I will link it for you, but I will say, I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy for you guys. It's been a rough year for you, So I'm actually really happy for you, Good luck out there. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Good luck out there. I do have questions such as, how does one prove they've been vaccinated? Can you take someone's word for it? If they say, oh yeah, I've been vaccinated. Do people who choose not to get vaccinated, what's the word? Are they not exiled is the word I'm looking for. Are they in exile now? Is the society going to split in half into the vaccinated and the unvaccinated? I don't know. But I will say I'm happy for you guys. I know this meant a lot to you. And I really do hope that it has the end result that you are seeking. And with that, why don't we move on? We still got a few more stories to go, guys, along with NewsBreak tonight. Welcome, everyone. So in more inventing things to sell and accepting fake money for it, well, not fake money, but selling fake things for real money, Jack Dorsey is trying to sell his first tweet as an NFT. The highest bid is currently at 2.5 mil. And this was a few days ago, so it's possible it's been sold. It's possible it's been sold already. Jack Dorsey is hawking the very first tweet ever, being his, of course, to anybody who wants exclusive digital rights. And people are already willing to pay millions for it. The Twitter CEO posted a link Saturday to a site called Valuables by... Focus, girl. To a site called Valuables by Cent, where folks can buy and sell authenticated tweets with their autograph. Jack, too, was putting a tweet up for auction, his own from 2006, when he wrote, "Just setting up my Twitter." It's the tweet that kicked off every other tweet thereafter, so it's historic, and the bids bear that out. At the moment, the highest offer for ownership of his tweet sits at 2.5 million, courtesy of Bridge Oracle CEO Sina Estavi, who's been in a bidding war of sorts with another tech entrepreneur in the crypto world, Justin Sun, who was upping his price exponentially. This is what I want to read. It might sound nutty, but selling digital assets like this is a thing, which they call NFTs. I can't say this word. I'm not mature enough. Or non fungible tokens. They're essentially one of a kind collector's items that are recorded on a blockchain network, the same system that supports and tracks crypto, and which aren't interchangeable, unlike something like Bitcoin, which can be swapped back and forth. So if you own an NFT, a non fungible token, you're literally the only one who has it, which, as we can see, carries inherent value in the marketplace. Welcome to 21st century commerce, y'all. So basically, Jack Dorsey is selling a non-fungible token of his first tweet, and it's basically like from one digital nothingness to another digital nothingness for $2.5 million. So there you go, kids. So I want you all to keep dreaming. I want you to dream big, because you never know when you can sell a tweet, one of your tweets, for $2.5 million. I don't understand how this works, especially considering that I literally can just like screenshot it. But I guess they're going to transfer the digitality of the tweet to this guy's computer. And then like he technically owns like the actual tweet, I guess. I don't know, y'all, but whatever. Things the rich people are doing. They're busy selling digital assets for $2.5 million as if they can't be replicated. Anyway, let's move on. I think Elon heard us. I don't remember what show it was, but I think I remember saying something to the effect of, instead of putting space colonies and things of that nature in outer space, can we please like power Texas? Like, can we build a grid in Texas? Like, maybe he was offended that I said if I were president, I wouldn't let him build space colonies until he found a way to power the grid here on Earth. So I guess he heard us, guys, because Tesla is making a giant battery to plug into the Texas power grid, and it could store energy enough for 20,000 homes. Okay? So ask and ye shall receive, okay? Elon, it's okay, honey. I'm going to let you build your space hotels, okay? We just need to solve the ground problems first. Let's get a grip on these ground level problems, and then we'll let you build your little space hotel, okay? Okay. Tesla is making a giant battery to plug into Texas's power grid. Bloomberg reported on Monday. Gambit Energy Storage, a subsidiary of the electric car giant, is developing a battery energy storage project in Brazoria County, Texas. The system is registered with ERCOT, the state's power grid operator. An ERCOT filing from August gave the project an expected commercial opening date of June 1st, 2021, and said it has capacity to store 100 megawatts of energy. That would be enough to power 20,000 homes on a hot day. Look at that. The battery is set to charge from the grid when energy prices are low, and then discharge when the electric system has a shortage of energy. The battery could help the local electric system come back online by providing energy to jumpstart electric generators during a blackout or natural disaster. Elon, did you take that grid down just so you could push your battery boy? Because that's mighty like now. That was quick. Surely this has been in development for some time, hasn't it? Elon, did you take down the Texas power grid just to make a point? Don't you lie to me. That's mighty like quick. Don't y'all feel like that's a little quick? Wow. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. Let's see here if there's anything else. I'll link this for you guys. Just know Elon is getting ready to plug a big Tesla battery into the Texas power grid. All right. So it looks like we're getting what we asked for. Thank you. Let's go ahead and get this expanded out, because the quicker you can get this expanded out and get us to like $10 a month electric bills, the faster we authorize your space hotel. Okay. Thank you, Elon. Let's move on, guys. So this was going around the news earlier this week. I told y'all there was a lot going on this week. Welcome, everybody. So earlier in the week, people were like releasing videos and stuff saying like the CDC has released zombie guidelines. And the way they were, setting it up, they made it sound like the CDC had just released it like that day. Well, it's only like half true. What happened is the CDC updated their zombie apocalypse guidelines. So let's take a look. Okay. Nostradamus predicted there would be a zombie apocalypse in 2021, and the CDC is giving advice on how to prepare for it. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has provided health and safety guidelines for pandemics, and according to social media users, it's now offering advice on how to survive a zombie apocalypse. A viral March 4th Instagram post by the page Uber Facts correlates the CDC's zombie guidance to Nostradamus's purported prediction of a zombie apocalypse taking place this year. Back in the 16th century, the French astrologer predicted that there would be one this year. Here we go again. We've already talked about this, guys. We've talked about repeating ourselves over and over and over again in an article. We've talked about this. This is the third time you said it. Would be a zombie apocalypse in 2021. Okay. The CDC is giving advice on how to prepare just in case. According to the tweet, there's an image of zombies walking into a forest, and the caption of the post links to a zombie preparedness guide on the CDC's site. The post has over 73,000 likes. Let's see here, blah, 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 blah. So why don't we just take a look at that? Because this article, like sometimes I feel like these people are writing when they're drunk. Like they just hop on, get drunk, write the article, and just let it go. And it's not so much that they let it go as the fact that nobody, no editors, no bosses, no managers go back to them and tap them on the shoulder and say, go fix that. What is that? So this is the actual CDC. You see up here, it says cdc.gov, zombie preparedness. So it is real, guys. And essentially, we are not. Okay, let me read this. It says, do you wonder why zombies, zombie apocalypse, and zombie preparedness continue to live or walk dead on a CDC website? As it turns out, what first began as a tongue-in-cheek campaign to engage new audiences with preparedness messages has proven to be a very effective platform. We continue to reach and engage a wide variety of audiences on all hazards preparedness via zombie preparedness. Yeah, okay. Okay. Right. They're just playing into the moment, guys. Zombies were hot. Zombies were popular. So we take a very official government website and run a zombie preparedness campaign. Just to get everyone's attention, like, ha, made you look. Now here's how to prepare your family for a real disaster. Right. Why not do an alien invasion campaign? Might as well, right? We could have a Godzilla campaign. You know what I mean? Sure. Okay. We're going to go ahead and add this to the list of things that I accept. I just don't believe. That's all. I accept it, but I just don't believe you. That's all. And there's a difference, because there are some people who don't accept what you're saying and also don't believe you. There's people who don't accept what you're saying but believe you. And then there's people like me who I accept what you're saying, I just don't believe you. That's all. So yeah, so anyway, this kind of made its rounds again on social media because they updated it somewhere. So that's kind of what, got everyone's attention. But yeah, so the CDC has zombie preparedness, just in case you're interested. Man, I have so many thoughts and things. I have so much to say. So much to say, guys. So we're going to actually take a look at this video, but this happened in Vermont. A meteor over Vermont exploded so violently it shook buildings. Okay? A fireball traveling at 42,000 miles per hour streaked across the night sky above Vermont on Sunday night, creating a spectacular light show. The meteor fragmented so violently, it shook buildings across the state and produced a loud boom. Man, and you got the CDC updating their zombie preparedness guides. You got meteors shattering above states so loud they shake buildings across the whole entire state. There was about 100 eyewitnesses. This happened around 5:38 p.m. And it appeared about 52 miles above Mount Mansfield State Forest, moving 33 miles through the upper atmosphere, burning up 33 miles above Beach Hill. So this little area here. It said the space rock was likely a fragment of an asteroid. It was so intense it could be heard for miles as it shook homes and cars. Okay. Let's take a look at the video because I think they actually have video of it here. Let's take a look at this. What happened? No dice. Let's try again. All right.
We got a flood of calls from Vermonters all over the state this evening reporting a loud boom and a body-rattling vibration. Well, we found out you were hearing and feeling a meteor hit the atmosphere, and we caught it happen on our camera at the Burlington Airport. Take a look at this. A bright fireball flying over northern Vermont around 5:40 p.m. NASA says it was moving at 47,000 miles per hour. It traveled 33 miles from above Mount Mansfield State Forest to Beach Hill near Newport before burning up. Dave, I'm so jealous of the people who saw this with their own eyes. People in Canada even saw it. Wow. How cool is that?
That's really neat. I've seen a few of those in my lifetime, but you have to be like...
More to come. Now, here's my question. If this came off of an asteroid, right? Like, y'all don't see that asteroid on the radar? Like, asteroids don't just like form out of thin air. They like have tails on them and they travel quite a distance, don't they? So how did this thing materialize suddenly without your awareness? That's what I always find so surprising. Like, I feel like they should be like, oh yeah, and we saw this incoming, 3 days ago. We saw it when it entered into our atmosphere or into our neighborhood, I guess you could say. We saw it then. We've been tracking it ever since, and it looks like it chose, Vermont to kind of burn out. But no, that's never the case. They never see it. It's never on weather radar or anything. It just comes out of nowhere. Don't get me started. Let's move on. We're going to talk about some bad behavior from American citizens, and then we are going to close out our news break for this week. It has been so good hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much. So I'm sure many of you saw and heard about this story. So Uber attack suspect arrested in Las Vegas, and the other one said she'll surrender. So I'm not going to show this video just because it actually really upsets me for many different reasons. You're welcome to watch it yourself, but I will read you what happened. And just know that this girl, this is the main one right here, got arrested, which is exactly what she needed to get. A suspect in what police call a callous attack on an Uber driver in San Francisco has been arrested in Las Vegas. Malaysia King, 24, was apprehended on assault charges by Las Vegas police on Thursday. A fellow passenger, Arna Kimalai, 24, said through her lawyer that she would turn herself in. The two were among 3 riders who drew national scorn for Sunday's alleged assault that was captured on video by driver Subkahar Khadka, a 32-year-old from Nepal who said the passenger screamed racist slurs at him. Khadka refused to drive the women further after he noticed one wasn't wearing a mask. The confrontation boiled over. The unmasked Kimai is seen in the footage coughing on Khadka, snatching his cell phone and tearing off his mask, while King and their companion berated the operator. King pepper sprayed Khadka through a window as they exited and fled, cops said. She faces charges in San Francisco of assault with a caustic chemical, assault and battery, conspiracy, and violation of health and safety code. Good. She was jailed without bail in Nevada as a fugitive from another state. In a video she posted on Instagram later, Kimai said she was wrong and disrespectful, but accused Khadka of trying to put them out of his car in an unsafe neighborhood. She told law enforcement she would surrender soon. So that's the lady in the red shirt here. We're glad to hear that Ms. Kamai intends to do the right thing and turn herself into the nearest law enforcement agency, and we hope it happens promptly. The behavior on this video in this incident showed a callous disregard for the safety and well-being of an essential service worker in the midst of a deadly pandemic. We take this conduct very seriously in San Francisco, and we're committed to ensuring that justice is done in this case. So y'all already know how I feel about this whole crew. But if you saw the video, this one right here. Because here's my whole thing with these narcissistic freaks and these masks, okay? You can make decisions regarding your body all day, but you don't get to make that decision for someone else. And they get so offended when you attempt to protect yourself. Clearly, this is how this man either earns money full-time or part-time. All he really wants to do is not get sick and die from a pandemic that's going around from all these different people in his car. And it's not only just about him, it's also about every other passenger that's going to come in there after them. You understand? So if they're in there with no mask, breathing, getting their particles all over everything, you come in behind them. You see what I mean? So, and this is how things spread. This is why they wanted to shut y'all down completely. But y'all kicked and screamed and made such a fuss that they just were like, fine, they relented, you know? And look at these brats. Look at these narcissists that our society has raised up. How dare you snatch? What did she do? She snatched his mask off. She snatched his cell phone, tore his mask, and then pepper sprayed him. All because he asked her, please put on a mask in the car. That's it, guys. And I feel like this behavior is so representative of the attitude and spirit and energy in our society right now, which is, you better not correct me. Don't you correct me. Don't correct me. Don't hold me accountable. You better not. And if you do, I'll get violent with you. If you attempt to assert your boundaries, if you attempt to protect yourself, if you attempt to correct me in any way, I will get violent with you now. So the thing about narcissists is they are very aware that they are in violation, but they almost walk around with an I dare you spirit. I dare you to correct me. I dare you to say something to me. I dare you to say something to me about this. Yeah, I know I'm wrong. I dare you to say something about it. These are the demons that we're dealing with, you guys. So this demon and her friend, and probably the one sitting in the middle who thought it was so funny, all three of them are probably going to go to jail. All three of them. And now you're famous for the wrong reason, too. And she's an ignorant little something. Oh my God, I heard her speak. She did a little follow-up video before she knew she was getting arrested, basically bragging. You know what I mean? And she is a mush-mouth, ignorant little fool. Whew. So, you know, it's too late for her. She's already 24, 25 years old. You know, there's probably no turning this one around, but let this be a lesson to all the rest of the people in our society who think this is cute, because she thought she was grandstanding and showing out. You see what I mean? Big bad. You know what I'm saying? Look at him. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to deal with this. So entitled to hop in this man's car and feel like you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? But she got arrested for it. So it'll be interesting to see. And I'm so glad that they brought her up on conspiracy and violation of health and safety code. God, I love it. I love it. Oh, I feel another video coming on. Because basically my whole thing is this, and we've talked about this already, but they don't feel COVID is real. They don't honor or respect it at all, blah, 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 blah. Fine. What happens when the next one comes? What happens when a different one comes? We live in a natural, organic, biological environment that viruses and diseases and all kinds of stuff live in. We got asteroids exploding over Vermont. Who knows what it brought with it? So when something new is going around and the people start telling you that, and you decide just from day one that you don't believe them and it's not true, you just make the decision that you don't believe it and it's not true, and you're not changing anything about your approach. I saw a very interesting video that said this behavior is actually positioning America to be no longer a first world country, because first world countries know how to respond to crises. And if you claim to be a first world country, but you don't know how to respond to a crisis, you are no longer a first world country. You've been downgraded. But anyway, what concerns me are the people who from day one just simply decided they weren't going along with any of it before they had any data, any research, anything. So they'll have that same spirit when the next new thing comes around. And they have a callous disregard for their own health, clearly, but they also have a disregard for yours as well. And this is why they're dangerous people who need to be on their own island. Because it's not so much that you want to destroy yourself, it's that you want to take us all with you. And see, I have a fundamental problem with that. You know, I really do. But anyway, she's going to jail now. And let's close out with some more naughty, bad behavior from Americans. A fight breaks out between customers and employees at an Arizona Bath and Body Works. And I was going to show it until I found out that apparently YouTube doesn't like this either, because we are all 6. I'm 6, you're 6, and everyone in the chat is 6 years old. And as a result, you can't see fight videos. That's too sensitive for you. Okay? So I'll just read it to you and link it for you, and you can go watch it yourself. It's actually kind of pathetic. Okay? A fight involving multiple people erupted at a Bath and Body Works in Arizona involving customers and employees. According to a bystander, the incident happened over the weekend at a Scottsdale mall where 2 women were arguing before the brawl broke out. The bystander shot footage claiming that one of the women was standing too close to another customer, which led them to verbal sparring. Let me see something real quick. Dang. Let me see something. No. Oh, we're just gonna be real quiet, okay? Look at this. Look at y'all. Look at this. Somebody come take a look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at you. All of y'all should be home. This is why they wanted to close everything down on you, okay? This is why they wanted to shut the world down on you, okay? This is why. You don't know how to act. You claim to be first world. You are not. This is not how first world people behave, okay? Look at you. Look at you. All of y'all should be home, all out spreading COVID when you should be home, okay? Fighting in flip-flops. Girl, you weren't even ready. You don't bring flip-flops to a fight. All over some lotion and hand sanitizer. I just can't. So anyway. More, see? See? Do you see? Look at your screen. I'm not going to read it, but look at your screen. Anyway, you guys, y'all, it's been a blast. It's been fun. I've enjoyed catching up with you. Lots of craziness going on in our world. Stay safe out there. Be careful. Oy, I don't know what to tell you. I do plan on coming back on. My goal is Sunday, and I'm just going to declare it publicly. So hopefully that'll make me do it to hold myself publicly accountable. My goal is Sunday for People of the Lie, picking that back up. Woohoo! I didn't forget. I promise. That's the goal. But if Sunday doesn't happen, Monday, I think I can make People of the Lie happen. So you guys can be looking forward to that. And other than that, I hope you have an incredible weekend. And stay yourselves out of trouble, okay? Don't go to Bath and Body Works and get into fights. And if you are, be sure not to have on flip-flops, all right? With that, friends, take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.